Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is a very spicy series of Terran versus Protoss, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on the map Royal Blood. Spotting right here in the bottom left hand corner, going for a proxy barracks into double gas at home. Playing with the blue Terran SCVs from Mexico. We're looking inside of the main base of SpeCial. His opponent in the opposite corner, playing here with the red Protoss pieces. He's from Taiwan, and he goes by the name of Nice. Now, it's been a little while since I've casted either of these two players, and I'm excited to find out exactly what they've been up to. Because a couple of months ago, when I used to cast SpeCial quite a bit, remember those days? He was experimenting with a lot of battle cruisers. I feel like at every single game that I casted of his, he would be going for at least a couple of BCs, and I think that's also pretty much the last time I've seen battle cruisers being played at a high level. Lately, from what I've heard, SpeCial has been experimenting with another build, and I'm hoping that he goes for some of that as well in this particular game. Word on the street has it that he does decide to go for some of that shenanigans. Lately, he's been experimenting with mass Cyclone styles. Now, from what I understand, Cyclones are considered to be a pretty... alright, proxy tech lab as well. Pretty mediocre unit, all things considered. Now, to clarify, this is the current StarCraft 2 patch. In case you're unfamiliar, there has been a StarCraft 2 multiplayer balance patch on the PTR, the public test realm, for about the last month and a half or so, that essentially has a complete overhaul of the current version of the Cyclone. So the upcoming unit, I mean, it will be called the Cyclone, it'll look like a Cyclone, it will roll around the map like a Cyclone and all the rest of it, but it may as well be a unit with an entirely new name, because the Cyclone is getting a complete rework. So, I mean, assuming that everything goes through. The fact that SpeCial apparently has been experimenting with Cyclone builds ever since is very interesting to me. We'll have to see how well it works out. I haven't really seen anybody play mass Cyclone against Protoss in particular in quite a while. It's quite common against Zerg, I suppose, with BattleMech, but against Protoss? Really? Anyways, Stargate opener right here for our Protoss, who doesn't really know exactly what he's playing against. He hasn't yet found this barracks over here in the middle of the map. Concussive shells are done right now, so these Marauders can start packing a punch. Zealot, however, together with the Adepts, it's going across the map. There's a pylon here that has completed the wall off to not make it as easy right here for SpeCial to add on the tech lab. Command center here is coming up, but now finally the Marauders have shown themselves on the other side of the map. Is Nice going to recall? He is not recalling. He's going to double down on the aggression. That does mean, though, that he is certainly going to lose a bunch of probes. Oracle will be available here soon, so that'll make the game a little bit more playable. Yeah, but I think we really should just continue harassing here to the best of our abilities. Maybe SpeCial is thinking about going back home as well, because he is obviously in a lot of trouble, but it would take him a lot of time to walk all the way back. I actually think he should be prioritizing the worker damage here, but he's afraid of that Cyclone. Or, sorry, the Oracle here. There's a Cyclone coming up as well. But he's a little bit afraid. He wants to make sure that it activates the pulsar energy without being able to kill literally every single one of these Terran units, because it takes a while for that energy, of course, to accumulate. Cyclone at this point is available at home, so SpeCial is going to be able to push back at least a bunch of these units. Barracks over here are still producing Marauders. There we go, we're going to be going for the Cyclone upgrade. The green light was certainly spotted right there for Nice. Void Ray at this point is available. I quite like it here in this particular instance. Normally not a great unit to have, but I think, yeah, against the Proxy Marauder Hellion build, when none of the units shoot up, having something as sturdy as a Void Ray is an excellent choice. Okay, so how in the world is this game going to go now, right? The cheese has been mostly cleaned up. SpeCial is going to be flying the barracks back home. Our Protoss player has already got a... Okay, we're going to queue up Phoenixes. I don't think that's quite optimal, but anyways. He's already got himself an Oracle out. He's already got a Void Ray. This is not somebody who's going to easily lose the game. SpeCial, however, is just producing mass Cyclone right now. He's got a second factory, third factory coming up right now. He's going to start pumping out units that, assuming everything goes according to plan, will soon get a massive overhaul. So in just a moment's time, when this upgrade finishes, these units are gonna have red LEDs popping up over here at the front, and they will be even more dangerous when it comes to their lock-on ability in particular. Oracle goes in right now. There's nothing here to defend. I think you could have actually done quite a bit of damage to that mineral line. Nice. I mean, I guess that there's a Cyclone here that would have driven back home. Cyclones over here, though, on the other side of the map, have already started engaging. They're just trying to slow down that shield battery here for now. Maybe a bit of an overextension, though. That Stasis Ward catching a couple units. One of the Cyclones ends up going down. But this one, okay, does finish. Macfield Accelerator is going to finish as well in just 5 seconds. The Phoenix at this point over here doesn't have enough energy. Marauder here in a little bit of trouble, but that Zealot is going to be able to finish the job. Oracle has flown back home. What a messy engagement. But in the end, Protoss is going to be able to stabilize. Now, he sees at this point that the LEDs are on, right? So he knows that this is a committed Cyclone enjoyer. You really don't go for that upgrade unless you plan on making tons of Cyclones. Terran mech, in general, is considered to be quite bad against Protoss for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, Protoss, when their armies grow, just absolutely overwhelms Terran mech. But secondly, unlike, for example, Zerg, where mech is played every once in a while, the Immortal is a fantastic unit against it. Obviously, Void Rays are a fantastic unit against it too. Look at Special. He goes for a freaking Marine over here, right on the side of the Protoss. Phoenixes once again swoop in. Nice defense right here by Nice. Sorry, that nickname is basically just, you know, tons of puns. It's kind of like when Time was called, when Oliveira was called Time. It's one of those words you never realize you use all the time while you're casting a game of StarCraft 2 until, you know, you pay attention to it. All right, so I like this movement here, though, by our Protoss player for now. He has lost quite a few units. But the Cyclone is considered to be kind of a... Yeah, they're essentially turning it in the upcoming patch into, like, the Mech Marine. So it's like an all-round type of unit where it's more of like a jack-of-all-trades type of unit rather than like a specialized unit sniper. Like we see it being used more often than not in 2023. I mean, not really in this game, I suppose, but usually we see it being used to like snipe maybe an Oracle out of the sky for base defense, that sort of thing. Kind of like a Reaper, you know? You kind of just make like one, maybe two of them, but that's about it. It's being turned into something that we should see quite a bit more frequently. Now, maybe because the unit is just about to go over, through some significant changes, maybe that's why Special has been practicing some Cyclone builds as well. Because if everything goes according to plan, these strategies should technically speaking, be more powerful in the upcoming patch, although it's going to be entirely different. Nice already, though. He doesn't have... charge or blink or anything available. He has just decided to send all of his stuff towards the other side of the map. Missile turret over here is nice and all, but the Phoenixes can lift up the majority of these units. Is there enough follow-up firepower here? We should probably pick up a couple of the weakened Protoss units as well. Yeah, he's trying to keep these units alive to the best of his ability. Some stellar micro there, all things considered. Still, though, the Cyclone count is pretty big, and it is putting in a lot of work. Those Immortals are being juggled very nicely. Alright, that's another one of these units going down. Okay, lovely work. Another one of the Cyclones pops in from the side. Can we save this one? No. And I do believe that eventually Terran is going to be able to stabilize here. Yeah. That wasn't quite the perfect micro that I guess we were hoping for. It's very likely right now as well, there we go, that indeed that Prism ends up going down. Okay, that one Cyclone ends up falling. We have double Stargate Phoenix production here, because Phoenixes turn out to be a pretty excellent choice here, all things considered, against this mass Cyclone shenanigans. That early game barracks, by the way, still flying around. It's gone through quite a few iterations. For a little bit it was flying back home, but I guess it was sent across the map once more. 2 additional factories coming up right now for Special, who's just gonna double down. He's just doubling down. I'm inclined to imagine that this is not going to work, because that's the reason why the unit is getting an overhaul, but apparently Special disagrees. He's already got 4 factories pumping out Cyclones all at once. We have 2 more factories coming up right now. Golden Base over here on the left side of the map. I like that from Nice. Both players have got a stellar economy here, though, all things considered. And I think this shows us that despite the fact that StarCraft has been around for a long time and a lot of these units have currently just mostly stayed unchanged, right? They still have a lot of strategy variety. Like, there's still a lot of strategic choices that you can make that are considered different than what we normally see. Air weapons upgrade coming up here as well for Nice. I kind of like that. Charge, okay. If you finish that one up, there's really no way that Mass Cyclone is going to work, right? Air weapons, by the way, before the ground weapons, which is an interesting choice. There's an armory coming up right now as well for Special. I think armor upgrades are really the only way you want to play Mass Cyclone, because, I mean, they don't really... Most of their damage comes from the lock-on, right? And that is considered a spell in the current patch. Again, something that is planned to be changed in the upcoming one. Oh, we're gonna go for Widow Mines. Oh, okay, that's why we got the armory. Interesting. Okay. So it's gonna be Widow Mines together with Cyclones. Special right now, slow pushing missile turrets in this direction. He's seen the gold base. I think he wants to put down missile turrets, so maybe the Phoenixes cannot swoop in and destroy literally everything. That shield battery is gonna be super dead. A couple of the zealots also take quite a beating. Okay, we're slow pushing missile turrets. Excellent choice. I kind of like the missile turrets here, if I'm being honest with you, but now the charge slots are done. We're gonna go for liftoffs as well on those Phoenixes. Zealots here are mostly all gone. I mean, those missile turrets are putting in a tremendous amount of work, though. Reinforcing Immortal coming in from the north. Low HP Cyclones get cycled towards the back. And we're still just pumping out more and more stuff. Fleet Beacon now, done right here for Mr. Protoss. He is looking to go, I guess, into the Anion's Pulse Crystals upgrade and maybe some late game units. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what he's aiming for here. He could obviously go into just a ranged upgrade for the Phoenixes and that'll be it. Maybe Tempest would also be a decent choice. Charge slots still just charging down these units. Okay. At least one Cyclone ends up going down right there. And I don't think that was a particularly efficient trade right there for Nice. There's the armor upgrade coming up too. He's actually giving up on the gold base. The Mass Cyclone army is starting to break through all of this. Okay. That's another Immortal down the drain. Special, going for a very special strategy indeed. He wants to build another Nexus up here, nice that is, but GG is already cold. The Cyclone army has now got a massive tempo advantage, and there's really no way for Protoss to hang in here. Okay, game number 2, we find ourselves on the map Gresvin. I don't know if Special is once again gonna go for Mass Cyclone play, but let me just read to you the changes that they are planning on making to this unit, okay? Because the list is very long. Tech lab requirement removed, meaning that you can, well, pump them out 2 at a time from a factory with a reactor. Cost reduced from 150-100 to 125-50. Supply cost reduced. Health reduced by 10. Armor reduced by 1. From 1 to 0. The lock-on now uses the Cyclone's auto attack damage and no longer ignores armor. Replaced previous weapons with new weapon, 11 plus 3 versus mechanical damage and plus 1 damage per upgrade. So it's no longer considered spell damage, that's why it no longer ignores armor, and that's why it does benefit from the armory upgrades. It's got a 0.481 cooldown and 6 attack range. The lock-on cooldown removed. Lock-on no longer has a delay before the first shot and maintains a weapon cooldown between lock-ons. Lock-on cast range reduced from 7 to 6. Lock-on max range reduced from 15 to 9. Multiple Cyclones will now be able to auto-cast lock-on onto the same targets. Mag field accelerator upgrade removed. Movement speed reduced from 473 to 394. And there's a new upgrade that increases the move speed to 473, aka its current, well, speed. It costs 100 for 100 seconds research time, researched at the factory's tech lab. All things considered, and I haven't played that much of the PTR myself, all things considered, from what I understand, it's a massive change and it's a very significant improvement for the Cyclone. Imagine that previous game, but then with Cyclones that are substantially better. I've seen a bunch of games on the PTR where Terrans are quite literally just making Cyclones. And then, you know, when those Cyclone die, they just make more Cyclones. And then, you know, after they die, they just make more Cyclones. I'm wondering if that version of the game is gonna be live on the StarCraft 2 ladder at some point. Because while it is really fun to see this Mass Cyclone style from Special in game number 1 of this series, I'm a little bit afraid that that is what we're gonna be seeing for the next half year exclusively. Only time will tell, I suppose. If you want to stay up to date with all of the future changes to StarCraft 2 and obviously more and more pro games as well, I will make videos about it. I upload new videos pretty much every single day, so do make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you get notified when new videos go live. It's gonna be an interesting time for sure. Also with the new StarCraft 2 balance maps, or sorry, not the balance maps, the 1v1 maps. It's gonna be very significant. We may even be getting some new team game maps as well. That should be kind of fun. Alright, there's a Cyclone coming up. The proxy over here, this pylon over here, is just to block any add-ons. I've got a feeling that, yeah, it's not, you know, really that big of a bother right here for special. This particular series, by the way, is from a bi-weekly tournament from the Cranky Ducklings, which is really cool. So there were a bunch of bigger names signing up for this particular one, and I think special definitely is the favorite going into this kind of tournament. But it's still really cool to see more and more tournaments showing up in StarCraft, because... Oh god, we hit a bit of a supply block? Nah, only a few seconds. Still really cool to see more and more tournaments, though, pop it up in StarCraft 2. So shout out to the Cranky Ducklings for putting on this show match. Alrighty, so command center is done. Gonna be flying it down to the low ground. Apparently we're not gonna bother with making an orbital command first, then flying it down. No. Okay, so once again, here's the mag field accelerator. Here's the mass cyclone production once again firing up, because the second factory here is now done. This will be scouted as well by Nice. Yep, he sees it right now. So he's gonna have a little bit of time to now prepare for this. What exactly do you do different? Honestly, a lot of the previous game comes down to micro. So it's very easy to look at that and think, I want to wildly change up my unit composition. Because ooh, this is a nice catch though. Special may just be able to get the very first. Woo, he decided to fly over that little bit of dead space there, so the lock-on disappeared. Nice save right there by Nice. Great save right there, but maybe that would sound a little bit better. Anyways, yeah, really cool stuff. He's gonna have a little bit more time to prepare. It's easy to get away with thinking about, you know, unit compositions and making drastic changes, but oftentimes in StarCraft 2, what you gotta do is do the exact same thing, but better. So I think that's probably what Nice is going for here as well. Once again, the barracks has been flown across the map. I guess it's going to be used for a little bit of production, to provide high ground vision, and to taunt Nice for a little bit. I mean, that's not to be underestimated. But Phoenix Immortal does seem like a stellar unit composition against Mass Cyclone. Excuse me, against Mass Cyclone. I would imagine so anyways. Engineering bay here. What are we going to be using that for? We'll have to see. There's the third factory now coming up as well inside of the main base of the Terran, who now once again has turned on the red LEDs in front of those Cyclones, and they're gonna start working on, well, as much as possible, right? They're just gonna start hitting wherever they can. I guess it's just for, yeah, missile turret production? I guess that's why we are making, I guess that's why we've made the engineering bay? It's interesting, but I guess Special wants to slow push missile turrets? Robo Bay coming up right here for Nice. I would imagine that that is going to be for some disruptor play if we can get there. Oh my god, these lock-ons are brutal though. So much damage being done. These, yeah, Terran units just drive backwards so effectively. In a straight up fight, assuming these Cyclones stand still for a minute, the Protoss army definitely will wipe this army over here out of the map. But problem here is obviously that Special is going to be microing backwards all the time. Okay, the SCV is still hard at work, just sort of looking, giving the side eye right here to this battle. Marines are just coming out one at a time too, which is kind of cool. They are putting in quite a bit of supplemental damage, and Special, well, he's got the minerals for it right now, so he could be going for another command center as well if he wants to. Instead, he's decided to bring even more SCVs to the front. I guess he wants to add on, yep, even more missile turrets. Ooh, Immortal just barely lives. He does have a Robo Bay right now, but not really any opportunity to start properly producing out of it. Yeah, now he starts up a Disruptor. With all of those missile turrets though, Phoenixes are effectively thrown out of the equation. Now there's a siege tank that is driven across the map too. I almost wonder if that's a misclick or if he just wants to start putting some pressure on all of these shield batteries. I mean, I guess it's a really good choice actually. There's the battery overcharge being used once again. The Immortals want to start stepping forward. SCVs trying to repair the tank, but for now the tank will fall. It did also force a lot of these Protoss units once again though to come very far forward, and that's going to be the end for that one. Nice split right there by Mr. Special, who just managed to win this series quite convincingly as well, playing Mass Cyclone missile turret? Really? Okay.